Hi, this is Nick Williams. I'm sitting here with Sarah Alexander here in Cobham in your home. Hi Sarah.
Hello, hi.
How are you doing?
Alright.
So you've written a book called Spiritual Intelligence in Business. Comes out March 2010. And you've run a couple of your own businesses, so I'm assuming that a lot of what you've written about and are now teaching has come from your own personal experience. Is that true?
Yes, that's right, it is, yes.
So what were your businesses to start with?
Well, the first
or what
one...
are your businesses?
Well, the first one, which is no longer my business, I had a riding stables. I had a real passion for horses. I really loved riding and competing horses. So my first business was a riding stable, which I had for many years. And, you know, that was a business that just very much kind of grew organically, really as a result of my own interest. And the more I kind of learned new things, the kind of business sort of evolved slightly into that area. And when I look back on it now, I can sort of see that there was very much a sort of a thread that was running through that business that was really allowing the business to develop in alignment with my own kind of ever-growing interests. And those interests were very much taking me into the personal development field. I learned a lot about sports psychology, visualization, meditation and NLP and things like that as well. So that was the first business. I sold that in 2001. And then really through the latter part of that business, I also was so interested in personal development. I did a lot of training in those areas that were originally just an interest for me, and was starting to set up a whole business around personal development coaching and also some sports coaching as well, but this time not for people on their horses, but, you know, totally separate. And so that was really the second business that then has sort of developed and grown as well over time. And
now you do corporate coaching and one-to-one coaching,
yes,
talks, workshops, all sorts of different things.
Yes, I do. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So this theme, would you have called it spiritual intelligence right back at the beginning or not?
No, I wouldn't have called it spiritual intelligence at all, but it's when I look back now that I really can see that everything I was doing was just kind of the following of my interests, my intuitive impulses, and things were very much kind of working out for me. Actually, largely because I didn't really know anything about running a business. But
ignorance is bliss. You
ignorance
didn't know
was total bliss, but I just kept kind of following my gut feeling as what was the right thing to do for me. And, you know, every decision I took, I tried to kind of follow my intuition on, and it sort of, things seemed to work out, and the business was successful the entire time that I run it, and it just seemed to work for me. So, you know, even finding the right premises worked for me, and staff and things like that, so it really worked very well. And then once I trained in personal development, it was interesting actually, because I sort of went right against this whole kind of intuitive flow of what was right to do in the business. You know, I'd learned a lot about how to run a business and business practices, and kind of studied what the business gurus had said, and, you know, it was focus on what you want and then go out there and achieve it,
set
and
goals,
do this,
take massive action,
that's right, take massive action,
overcome obstacles,
that's
and all
right,
that stuff.
push through your obstacles and really get going. And, you know, I did all of this. I made affirmations like mad, and I kind of visualised what I wanted, and I suddenly thought, this is not really working for me that well. I wasn't really sort of getting anywhere, you know, and I sort of harked back to, well, what did you do before that worked so well? And
it's interesting, because you're calling it spiritual intelligence, but I also wonder, would you call it also like the feminine way of doing business in a way?
Yes.
Because I think a lot of business and kind of being entrepreneurial is very much that kind of masculine way of action and all that stuff. But there is very much the feminine way, and you trusted that, and then in a way it sounds like you stopped trusting it, and then things didn't work so well. That's
right, yes, absolutely. And, you know, I think we are here to balance, and an aspect of spiritual intelligence is the balances of the masculine and feminine energies, but based on the fact that the feminine energy, which is receptive and intuitive, really receives the guidance, and then our masculine energy should then act on that guidance. Right. And I think, you know, it's very easy to think, right, just act. You know, don't worry about the feminine energy giving you any guidance. This is the logical thing to do, just go and do it and make it happen. And, you know, certainly for some people it works for them. I don't know how much satisfaction they get from it, but kind of trying to balance the two and base your actions on the kind of feminine impulses has really worked for me.
Because I can imagine, well, I certainly have experienced it, if you take action without any kind of foundation of why, other than kind of money or material success, even if you're successful, there isn't a lot of meaning to it.
That's right.
Whereas
absolutely.
if you're being led by some inner direction, whether you call that spiritual feminine or just intuition, some kind of guidance, everything tends in a way to have more meaning, doesn't it?
I think so, yes, that's right. And for me also, an aspect of spiritual intelligence has been that sense of connection to a higher power. For me that is actually God. For other people it may be Jesus, it may be Buddha, it may be Allah. I don't think it matters who the higher power is or what it is. It could be just the universe. But your willingness to kind of trust in that higher power, and also to kind of let your problems be handed into or placed in the hands of that higher power, I think is also quite important. You know, kind of Taoist philosophy is very much encourages that when there's a problem, we don't have to kind of jump in and sort it out instantly. We can just allow that problem to be unravelled more naturally, and often our connection to either the Tao in Taoist philosophies or our sense of a higher power can then perhaps sort situations out for us without really we have to take too much action on those situations.
So trusting in a higher power to evolve and to transform things. And do you believe that we're also here in service of a higher power?
Most definitely, yes, that's right. I think one thing that comes as a result of this sense of inner connection to your higher power is that your thinking shifts, and you know, obviously as we mature as people, perhaps we become a little bit less self-centered and self-focused, and our whole outlook shifts, and you know, how can we actually help other people through what we do, and how can we do things that are for the greater good. And so yes, I think that is quite a natural thing, and I think it's part of the way we mature as adults, is that we do make that shift in thinking, so that the business is kind of got that as one of its foundations as well.
Something I'm aware of, I don't know whether you'd agree with it, we could just finish off by thinking about this, is often, in my experience, people think, well, if they're in service to something greater than themselves, like whether God or the universe or whatever, they're going to have to end up doing something they don't particularly enjoy, because that's what the universe wants them to do. But actually, I think the universe wants us, I don't know if you agree with this, to be in joy, to be inspired, to be in love, to be in passion. So when we're in alignment with it, it's going to be a joy, not a drudgery. Is that your experience?
That's absolutely my experience, and this is why, you know, I think I've been very lucky, is throughout my working life I've been able to do things that have been absolutely in alignment with those passions, and I think that's where our guidance takes us to, the things we really not only love to do but also we're really good at as well. You know, it guides us to what we're effective at, not the things we're not any good at, which is pretty
I think it's
useful.
a really important point, is that you know, guidance doesn't take you to misery and suffering.
No, it doesn't at all. No,
guidance
that's right.
takes you to joy and full aliveness.
Yes, that's right, and it guides you to kind of open up more and more of yourself, perhaps access sort of talents that are within you that you had no knowledge that you had at all, and it kind of allows you to be a much fuller, more rounded person, I think, as well.
To keep blossoming. Great. Well, thank you for sharing your own personal experience of your own businesses, because I know you're sometimes a bit reluctant to do that, so thank you for being willing to do that. I really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed watching this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.